Friends and fellow travelers, welcome to the Journey Well as we continue on with the Tarot and Shadow Challenge from the Tarot Diagnosis. And this is day 23, which is asking us, if my pain had a voice, what would it say? Dang. Okay. Oh, this one makes me excited and nervous. The funny thing about excited and nervous is they're really the same emotion. Even anxiety is like a high grade, nervous, but it's a different focus, Excited is like, ooh, what's going to happen? Nervous is like, oh, what's going to happen? So I'm excited. If my pain had a voice, what would it say? Wow. If my pain had a voice, what would it say? The King and Queen of Pentacles. I had a friend say, you're drawing a lot of pentacles. And I didn't realize it. And now I've become aware of it. And the King and Queen of Pentacles, yeah. Holy hell, like this message is, that's kicking me right in the gut right now. And the thing about the pain is that I don't feel pain. I feel invigorated right now, but the pain's message has been consistent through a long time, and it is wrapped in the Queen and King of Pentacles. When I think about it, the Queen is nurturing. The King is leadership. I need to self-nurture. I need to nurture others. I always wanted to, and I didn't really understand how that manifested in a physical way, and sometimes it was just inside myself. But the King is really calling to me saying, yeah, okay, this man who was a leader, he told you years ago that you were not a man, that you could not lead. You couldn't even lead a meeting, so why even try? He was a tyrant. He was nothing. He is now actually in a lot of trouble because he isn't a man. But he said I wasn't one to hold me down so that I would never become all that I can be because I was connected to this. And this inner voice in me is saying this is a valuable part of yourself. Do not deny it. You are a man who is connected to the feminine and the masculine, capable of compassion, capable of force, capable of fight, capable of drive, capable of love and sitting still and being quiet. I can meditate as much as I can fight. My life's path is rooted in scarcity from the abuse of others and limiting my own voice, believing I could never hold either one of these pentacles, let alone both. But my pain is saying you can. You've shown it time and time again. I've proven it to myself time and time again, and when I've proven it to myself, I've told myself that was a fluke. Well, this isn't a fluke because there is no fluke if there is consistency. These kings and queens are about consistency and slow, intentional action. My pain says, take slow, intentional action. Do what you're doing, because if you don't, we will be in pain again. We don't want to live here anymore. We want to live here. So don't. Hear my voice. And remember, imprint this on your brain that you never want to feel this way again. You never want to feel that pain of silence, of self-doubt, of allowing some other person to tell you who you are in a negative way because they want to make sure they're staying elevated and then you stay small. My pain is telling me, don't go down that path. Walk down this one. This isn't about wealth of money. This is about wealth of spirit and vitality in life. And if money comes, then so be it, and I will welcome it, of course, because we need money to live in this life. I'm not ignorant to that fact. But to me, this is manifestation of all that I want in my physical world, in my relationships. All the things that I kept myself locked away from, just like the child that locked himself in his room to avoid his father. My father was a great man wrapped in a tyrant's shadow. He was brilliant. He was brilliant with money. But because of his wounds, he didn't know how to do this. Let me show you this. I don't know if you've noticed this in the back. Probably not, but this is a tie. And I have had it tied for years. I don't know how many years. But this is a double Windsor knot that my dad tied for me. I can't tie this tie. I can't tie this knot. This is an exquisite knot. And he tied it because I had a wedding or something I was going to. And it was this moment that I couldn't undo because I loved this moment. I appreciate his craftsmanship. It's a tie. He was an engineer. But when I look at this, I just see like, wow, that is something special. And so I'll never untie this. And I hold it back here because it's important to me. I didn't have a really great chance to make amends with him, but he had a blood infection and reverted to the age of like a 2 or 3-year-old for a few days. And he came out of that. And for the last day of his life, for 24 hours, he got really clear. He came back to us fully. He was doing rehab and he was like ready to leave. And my relationship was confusing with my dad, but he was still my dad. And I still felt like I loved him. I don't know if I did, but he's still my dad. And so, I was like seeing him come back after almost dying. I was saying, oh, this is going to be, great. When you get out of here, we'll mark the day and we'll have it be ice cream day, because he hadn't eaten much in the 3 days because of the injury. And he said, oh, that sounds good. And he tasted a Sprite and he said it was the best thing he'd ever tasted. And these little moments where my dad came back to me after I lost him, and I felt like, I had that moment with him and all that stuff was forgiven, and I had to go film a wedding. So I left him and I said goodbye, and he, understood and was proud of me, I think, in that moment for being entrepreneurial. And I was shooting the wedding and I got a phone call from my sister that he had a stroke. He was having his hair washed, said his head hurt, and then he was basically gone. And I had to film the wedding. In between, after the ceremony, I took a call with my sister, and he wasn't going to make it, but he was still breathing, so I could say my goodbyes to him, and heard him, breathing, agonal breathing, and dying, and I was like, Dad, don't leave me. I don't want you to go. I still need you. Please don't go. And it's like, here it is. He's not leaving me. There's something about the magic of knots. And sometimes I felt like there was a knot in my stomach around him. I was so afraid at times, but I wanted to be loved, so badly. And I found tyrannical men to kind of do that, to replicate some of that stuff, and never received the blessing of the king. And I've done a lot to heal that relationship. I know my dad went through a lot of stuff, so he wasn't an asshole. He wasn't this terrible person or anything like that. He just did the best he could, and it hurt. Okay. And I'm thankful that he was my dad. I know he took care of me in his own way. I just didn't know it until after he died, like how he did it. And I just know that we need to talk. My kids will never go through life not knowing how I feel, not knowing where I'm at. It won't be a mystery to them, So that's this pain. This pain comes from that, and it's wrapped in physical objects that remind me, like, I can honor my father through the life that I live, and the way that I treat my family, and the way that I break the cycle that he tried to break from his abusive father. It's a tie. It's a knot. But it's so special to me. And that's why I put it up here. I don't have much, real personal stuff up there, but this is one that, I didn't plan on talking about, but hey, the cards, that's what they do to you. So, well, there's that. It went a little longer than I anticipated, but it's like that sometimes. If this has been meaningful to you, if you've enjoyed these talks together, please subscribe to the channel. I have so many plans. I have so much that I want to do to create a community of daily interaction that I call the Journey Well, where we can all come and we can all share from our spirits. We can all drink from the waters of community and revitalize ourselves, rejuvenate ourselves, get the energy as we continue back onto the road of travels that we're all walking. When we do so, we know we're not alone. So until next time, thank you for witnessing this, and journey well, my friends.